I'm Jolie Whitney. You've probably heard the quote, "Give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime." Today we're talking about a UVM extension program that does just that. UVM Extension's Community Nutrition Education team provides nutrition and cooking education through 2 federal grant programs and offers a fee-for-service model for those who may not qualify for the federally funded programs. Today we're focusing on one of those federal programs, EFNEP, which stands for Expanded Food and Nutrition Education Program. This UVM extension program empowers Vermonters to lead healthier lives through hands-on nutrition education. Programs serve income-eligible parents, caregivers, and expecting mothers, as well as children and teens. The best part? It's free. Maire Folan is the Nutrition Education Director at EFNEP. She joins us today over Zoom. Welcome to the program, Maire.
Thanks for having me.
So much like UVM's 4-H program, EFNEP is based on a model of learning by doing. What are you teaching people?
Yeah, EFNEP empowers limited resource families with the knowledge and skills to eat healthier and move more. And our EFNEP classes share information around 4 core areas: diet quality, physical activity, food safety and security, and food resource management. So each EFNEP class starts with some foundational knowledge around those core areas, and then we get to put that into practice by cooking a dish together where participants are learning by doing. Additionally, our EFNEP classes, or EFNEP course, is a series of typically 4 to 6 classes because we know that behavior change takes time and practice.
So what kind of populations does EFNEP work with?
We work with a wide variety, from kids in the K through 12 system to young adults in the 19 to 25 age range who might be starting out on their own or becoming parents soon, to pregnant women and parents or caregivers of children under 19.
All right, and we've got a video clip here of an EFNEP cooking course that was held for UVM students and taught by an EFNEP educator, Lori Pinnard. Can you tell us about what this opportunity is for students?
Yeah, we all know college students are stretched thin with time and money. So our goal was to offer an EFNEP series to reach off-campus UVM students to give them practical information on how to eat healthy on a tight budget and provide useful cooking techniques that they can use wherever they were living. So this has been a great collaboration between EFNEP, University of Vermont Dining, and the Office of Student and Community Relations. So our nutrition educator, Lori, did a fabulous job working with students to build upon their existing knowledge and model ways to eat healthy and move more with limited time and money.
And are there eligibility requirements to participate in an EFNEP program?
Yes, EFNEP is a federally funded program that serves families with limited resources. So for us, that means a family is at or below 185% of the federal poverty level. So for a family in 4 in 2023, they're making $55,500 or less. They're also likely participating in other assistance programs like Head Start or 3 Squares Vermont. And for those adults, we serve those who are or will be parents. So as I mentioned, that includes pregnant women, young adults who may soon be parents, and adults who are caring for children, which could also include kinship care.
And food insecurity is defined as not having food to meet one's basic needs. So what sort of strategies do you suggest for people experiencing that?
Yeah, one strategy we share with participants is that the best way to save money and eat healthier is actually to cook at home, because you can control what goes into the food that you're making. And EFNEP classes give people the skills they need or add to the skills that they already have to meal plan, make grocery lists, utilize sales at the store, and prepare healthy meals using the implements that they have right at home. And we also recommend anyone experiencing food insecurity to look into food assistance programs and how they can apply.
And I was impressed to see on your website that one of the core things you focus on is exercise. Can you tell me a little bit about what you try and teach people about that component?
Yeah, in addition to a healthy diet, physical activity is a really important part of health and well-being. So at each of our classes, our nutrition educators incorporate physical activity into the lesson to model ways that participants can increase their movement at home. And we follow the physical activity guidelines for Americans, which encourages a minimum of 150 to 300 minutes or 2.5 to 5 hours of moderate intensity activity a week. So our nutrition educators show how you can reach that by getting even 30 minutes a day at 10-minute increments, and they illustrate ways to build up those 10 minutes of activity into a day to get to that recommended exercise level.
Okay, and tell me a little bit about what moderate intensity exercise looks like for somebody day to day.
Yeah, moderate intensity exercise could be something like walking stairs, walking at a brisk pace around the block. It can be kind of a variety of things that you can do that you don't need a lot of implements and you can do almost anywhere that you are.
Okay, great. So a lot of longtime viewers know EFNEP from their work with expecting mothers. Can you tell me about that part of your program?
Yeah, we have lessons for expecting mothers with specialized content like specific food safety concerns they should be aware of and foods to stay away from, such as cold cuts, unpasteurized cheese, maybe even like limiting fish due to mercury concerns. And we also talk about food options that will support their pregnancy. We also have lessons for new moms about introducing solid foods to their infant at certain times. So this course is a really great supplement to any expecting mom who's enrolled in WIC or a Head Start program.
One of the components of your program is the cooking classes. If I was taking one of the cooking classes, what would be involved in that?
Yeah, the cooking portion of the class is everyone's favorite. So I mentioned that FNEP is a series of classes. It's a kind of a course, and cooking is incorporated into each of those classes. And this is where participants get hands-on practice to apply what they learned about healthy eating, and they make a dish they can use at home and serve to their family. So for example, one class might share information about the health benefits of whole grains, and then they get to cook a fried rice dish with whole grain brown rice to try out incorporating that whole grain into their meal ideas at home. So participants are getting to apply what they learned about nutrition and healthy foods by making a dish that uses those ingredients and helps them figure out ways they can bring that recipe into their homes.
Can you tell me a little bit about how EFNEP works with teens?
We work with teens in the K through 12 system, and we have specific curriculum geared towards that age group and that life stage. So the focus for them is how to cook and prepare healthy food on their own and making healthy decisions when they're buying food. We know through the dietary guidelines for Americans that over 70% of teens are eating more than the recommended 10% or less of their calories as added sugars. And the average fruit and vegetable consumption is well below the recommended intake ranges. So there's a big focus on decreasing sugar sweetened beverages, which for that age group is a large contributor to the added sugar intake, and finding creative, easy ways to get fruits and vegetables into their diet. So they might learn how to read a nutrition facts label when they're buying and choosing foods, so that they're making informed decisions about what kind of food they're putting into their bodies. And of course, with each cooking component, they're learning how to make easy, nutritious, fast meals and snacks that they can do at home.
And we just discussed the role of caregivers in your program. Can you tell me a little bit about how EFNEP assists caregivers and also how that impacts the people they're taking care of?
So FNEP courses are open to adults that are caring for children. So this includes parents, of course, but also adults who find themselves in the situation of caring for grandchildren, foster children, or other kinds of kinship care. And our curriculum is designed to support whole family health. So the information shared and any recipes cooked are geared towards empowering caregivers to choose healthy foods and prepare those healthy meals for everyone in their household. And we always send information home with youth in our K through 12 classes so that caregivers have the same information in the recipes that we prepare in class.
In one area where we could all be better, myself included, is food safety. So can you tell me something that we could all incorporate to make sure we're handling food better?
Yeah, absolutely. Food safety is definitely a key part of our curriculum and something easy everyone can do, especially as we enter cold and flu season this winter, is to wash hands before preparing food. That's an easy one. We've got that. But another way that we can reduce the risk of getting sick from foodborne illness is to thaw meat in a safe way. So you can do that by planning ahead and placing frozen meat in the refrigerator. Or if you need to defrost meat quicker, it can be placed in cold water or defrosted in the microwave. So that ensures that the meat stays cold and bacteria doesn't multiply, which could increase the risk of us getting sick. And frozen meat should never be defrosted by leaving it out at room temperature. I know we've all been guilty of doing that, but really trying to utilize those other tips I mentioned. And the next great tip I would say is to use a meat thermometer when you're cooking meat to know when it's reached a safe temperature to eat.
Okay, and another component of your curriculum is saving some money at the grocery store. What are some tips you have for people going in to get groceries to try and budget better?
Yeah, saving money can actually start before you get to the grocery store, and meal planning is a huge part of that step. And it begins by looking at what you have on hand and what you need to use up. And then the next step would be to plan out what you need to buy for the meals that you want to make that week. So after identifying what you have at home, making your meal plan, then you can go build a shopping list with just the items you need to purchase. So those two strategies can save a lot of money over time and help reduce food waste in your home. Other ways to save at the grocery store can include buying fruits and vegetables in season, checking the unit price to find the lowest price by weight or volume, and comparing fresh, frozen, or canned fruits and vegetables, since those are all healthy options and that can really save you money.
And we've talked a lot about your free service model, but you also have a fee for service model where you can pay to participate. Who would be eligible for those services?
Yeah, absolutely. Both EFNEP and SNAP Education, which is another federal program that we operate, and SNAP stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or Three Squares Vermont. Those are both federal nutrition education programs that we run that are free to those who qualify. However, often we find there are lots of people interested in our program, but they don't qualify for EFNEP or SNAP Ed. So to meet that need, we're building out a fee-for-service model that allows us to work with a greater variety of clients and those who want to learn how to eat healthier and be more physically active. So this might work well for a school who might not qualify for our free programs, but wants to supplement their health curriculum or provide an after-school series. Or maybe there's an employer who wants to bring some wellness programming to our employees. So we're really excited to build out this new model to serve more Vermonters with our programming.
All right, and if somebody's interested, what's the best way they can get in touch?
Absolutely. Folks can reach out to me at my email or by phone. And for those who are specifically interested in EFNEP, our website has a wealth of information.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
I want to shout out everyone here behind the scenes at WCAX for making this program possible. And did you know you can go to Across the Fence anytime you want? Visit us on Facebook and YouTube by searching Across the Fence. Have a good one.